Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cobbles and Cols Podcast. We are back now, and this time I promise we actually are back. Yeah, last time we spoke to you was obviously the Ed Pickering interview, editor-in-chief of Ruler magazine, and then we went to Ruler, but maybe we actually
we dreamed too hard.
Yeah, maybe we committed
dreamed too hard.
Maybe we committed to restarting a podcast at the busiest time of the year. So yeah, NJ, maybe we just do a little bit of a life update. What have you been up to since we spoke to people in mid-November?
Yeah, I think it became very apparent that us two were both very busy, along with all of the guests that we tried booking were also very busy. So our dream of being like, oh, let's record and release everything in December didn't work out. As is no secret, I moved house. I bought a house in Hertfordshire, and it turns out when you buy a house, there's lots of issues with it, and you have to do stuff to it. Who would have thought? It's not like a rental where you just come in and you don't have to worry about these problems. All the problems are my problems now, which I'm still coming to grips with. Maybe in like a year or so, I'll understand. But you know, when you've been renting since, I guess, forever, until through uni, lived at home for a bit, and then went back to London. So I guess what you got 10 years of rent, a decade of renting. So when you stop renting and you're the homeowner, that whole thing of becoming a homeowner, now it's like all the problems are mine. And it turns out like you also want to put your own stamp on it now because you own it. Because you're like, oh, I can do whatever I like. It's like taking off wallpaper. Tried doing that. We got very, very slow progress, very hard. So just had to pay a guy to do it. And then over Christmas, when you come around, it was like you'll understand why. It was like the guys were like, there was like 4 layers of wallpaper on this wall.
They just papered over the top.
They just kept paper. Yeah, it's like that. It's not great. So the guys took 2 days to take like the living room, the hallway, the stairs, and that's all they did. And that's how long it took. 2 days to take all that off. Because it was
what the good people of this podcast don't know as well is that we might have a matching living room.
We do. And then so we're like, I think we can paint it. We can probably put, apart from like the stairs, because there's like, without getting into it, our stairway kind of goes like that, and then there's a wall above it, and like unless the way they did it was they put a ladder up, they put a plank on a bench, and then you stood on the bench whilst taking it down. And I'm like, I don't really want to kill myself. I'll pay someone else to put their life in danger for our walls. It's there. I'll let them accept the risk. So I think basically over Christmas we sanded down the walls, and then like primed the walls, and then painted it, and that took 3 days. I also tried hand sanding very long time. So I bought one of those mouse ones, and it's just like poof, my hand.
Your hand feels like going to fall off. Yeah.
But it was much quicker. And then we painted it, and I still look at the walls and still don't look smooth. So we'll never. But this is the character that people want in a house, right?
Yeah, perfection getting in the way of good, you know?
Yeah, so that was pretty much my Christmas. It was... Pre-Christmas was just like seeing everyone, getting real drunk. Actual Christmas, pretty calm, just seeing the family, getting beaten up by nieces and nephews. And then post-Christmas was just painting. And then I think by New Year's Eve, I was just like, I don't want to do anything ever again. And back at work on the 2nd, and it feels too brutal for those 2 days, and then it was the weekend. How was your Christmas?
Mine was good. What people don't know as well is that I didn't say it on the last podcast, but my wife is pregnant, and there was some complications around the pregnancy that I mean, my wife put on social media. Originally, we had twins, and one of them didn't make it. So, it was a lot to deal with. And then I had my in-laws over, who don't speak a lick of English, and then I had my parents over for a couple of days, and my brother was there too. And you know, my daughter's 3 very soon, so it's kind of it's like having a terrorist cell in your house sometimes, really, when everything gets taken out at once. And I'll be honest with you, I think she got too many presents. There's a lot of stuff.
That's just kids, isn't it? They always get
So
get a lot.
What my wife and I think we've agreed is that we might do it's like proper, I don't know, Type A stuff. We might end up doing a toy rotation where I put some of the toys in the attic, and then 6 months later, my daughter gets a whole. Anyway, yeah. So then
No,
we do that.
I've heard that there's lots of ways you can do it. Someone
Yeah,
at work
exactly.
these are the conversations I get to in work without having a kid, and they're like, we basically have every 3 months we'll take some from the garage, put it in rotation, and they'll never know because they get bored of it after a day.
That's it. So yeah, there's that, and then I'm trying to do some interesting things at my work, but it's quite difficult for me to do at the moment. So it's like a whole new piece we're doing at work through partnerships and stuff like that. But the challenge is that because we haven't done it before, I'm having to just work all the time. And I was trying to do a deal before the end of the year, and I had my work phone on, and I was like, I had both weeks off, like the Christmas week and last week too. I had both weeks off, and I thought, right, I'll have a 2-week break, hang out with my family, spend some time off. And then I worked the whole Christmas week, so I worked after Boxing Day. And indeed, someone was emailing me on Boxing Day. And then on the Sunday after Christmas, my boss and the head of finance were sending me emails. And I was like, do you know what? Fuck this. It's the Sunday after Christmas. People are pinging emails on a Sunday. So I just flicked my work phone off and I dealt with the mess on Monday. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. Waking up at I know it's not early, but waking up at 6:30 every morning to wake up. My wife puts my daughter's clothes on, but I wake up, defrost the car, then I get to the train station at 7:30, to get to work for 9:45-ish.
Yeah.
It's been pretty grim, mate.
It's pretty grim. I have to leave about 7:30. It's still dark.
The other thing as well, I've actually had the shit-eating grin wiped from my face. So, not to dox myself, but where I do my turbo training?
Yeah.
It's the same temperature as it is outside. So I went in there and I was like, right, gonna jump on Zwift for an hour and a half. Other platforms are available, but I was going to jump on Zwift for an hour and a half, and I went in there and my water bottle had frozen, and I was like, okay, fine. And what I'm considering doing is getting the space heater that's in my daughter's bedroom, just to keep it warm.
Yeah.
Putting that in the place I do my shed, and then getting that up to 12 degrees, and then jumping on Zwift, and then putting on the fan because it's first world problems. If I'm honest, mate. But it's the same temperature outside as it is inside, so it's like if I was jumping on the turbo outside.
Yeah, that is, yeah. I've set it up in the garage like that. Although I don't have any plug points in the garage, so here's well, there is a plug point, but it turns the light on. So unless I do it in the day, but if it's in the day, I might as well just go out, which kind of defeats the point.
Do you know what, mate? I drove to Cobham a couple days ago. The people know it. They were the back way, from where I live in Ripley, and I just will say to people, everyone takes that to come from London into Surrey Hills. Just be really careful on that road. I went past and I saw someone broke their hip. It's all black ice. Yeah, it's that really dodgy bit of road when you turn right at Cobham to go towards Ripley and Surrey Hills. Just public service. Don't say we don't do anything for you people, but just be really careful there because I saw someone take a stack. The road was flooded a couple of days ago, so if you are coming to my neck of the woods, be careful. I mean, speaking of which, how much cycling have you done, and how much cycling are you going to do in 2025?
I guess last year it was all good up until the move / holiday in September. So we had 3 good quarters, as they say. Final quarter.
Yeah.
Terribles. But I ended on doing about 7,000 kilometers for the year. The aim was 10, and usually I do about somewhere between 9 and 10. So we had 2,000 less than I would want, but
okay.
But it's life, isn't it? You have a whole life upheaval. This is what happens.
I mean, yeah, before I had a child, I said that I'd like to do. I always said 125k a week, which translates to 6,000 a year.
Yeah,
and that was kind of just out of COVID and whatnot. Here's the difference, though, mate. Not to upset anybody here, but do you count turbo kilometers the same as outside kilometers? Because you can bang a turbo sesh because that's where my different. That's what I noticed when I cycled to Surrey. I started focusing on time rather than distance because.
Well, I guess on the turbo, I do it to time because there's no way I'm like, I'm going to do 100k. The most I'll do on a turbo is about 90 minutes. So anyone who does over that, I'm like, you must really love cycling or you've got an event to train for because there's no reason you should just be on the turbo that long unless you like it. I much prefer being outside with the wind in my hair. But I do count it the same. But I don't like sit in like the big groups where they're doing like 40k an hour for like so and so. I'll just be like, make my own zone 2 training session because that's the best way of doing zone 2. And then I'll just put it on the flat route and watch a film or Jack Ryan was my go-to because they're about 50-minute episodes. They're just action.
Do you put it on erg mode?
I've got a Tax Smart Trainer 2 or something. And it's like really shit for like erg mode and stuff. So I set it to constantly be at a like 3% gradient or something like that, 2%, and then put it in like middle of the cog on my bike, and then I'll just leave it in that gear. So I'm doing like a cadence of like 90, but putting out like 150, 160 watts, and I'll do that for like 90 minutes.
I find that I lose so much fitness so quickly on a bike. Like even if you take 2 weeks off, I just lose so much of it.
Yeah, I try and do like at the moment. I try and basically I'm going to try and do 3 rides a week, whether it's like only an hour because it's like 0 degrees and you get frozen. But I think trying to do 3 rides is enough. I think so far this week I've only done 1, but it is -4 outside.
Do you have a cold weather protocol? Because when if I look out the window and there's frost on the leaves, it's not happening. I just don't want to. I know I'll slip over.
Luckily, well, we'll get into it later, but the roads around here are fairly all right. But I basically just look over the road and see if like the top there's like frost goes on the roof opposite the house opposite. So if the car on the roof is frosted, I'm like, I won't go out. But usually by midday, it's gone to about 1 or 2 degrees and all the frost has gone out because of the sun's hit it. And then it's like usually like everything's kind of like gets hit with sunlight here. So you might see frost on the like in the fields and the puddles, but the actual road is fine because all the cars go over it and I guess it wears it down. Friction. I don't know how it works.
Friction. Yeah, probably.
Tire friction? I don't know.
It'll be it'll be like residual heat from the tires and friction will just wear it down, essentially.
Yeah, but I think my main riding will come in about 6 weeks' time when it's like light outside, so I can actually get up in the morning and go because there's no street lamps, which is the kind of thing you just forget when all you do is bang Regents for the past 5 years. Street lamps are quite handy. Regents is quite handy for the winter, but I guess their gain in winter is their loss in summer because in summer I'll be able to just slam all of these empty lanes and it'll be perfect. So basically, as soon as it starts getting light by 7:30, I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge I've got here. So I'm not commuting in at the moment because there's no street lights from where I live, Ripley, to Kingston. And that's half the journey, and it's pitch black. And I just don't. And it's also kind of on the way back, right? There's cut-outs. When I go, there's not a lot of traffic, but when I come back, obviously, it's kind of like rush hour sort of time. So I've just got no interest in doing it. How are the roads then? How are your new roads?
My new roads are they're kind of rolling, but not like there's not too many crazy gradients. It's kind of like 3%.
Okay.
So you're climbing, but you're not. You can do it in the big gear if you really want to. Everything is super smooth. I'd say about 90% is super smooth. Not any potholes or anything like that. But what is really blowing my mind is that none of the cars do any dangerous overtakes. It's like probably what like being in Girona is like. As in the other day.
Oh my god! No.
Well, I've not been to Girona, but as in like car behaviours. I'm not saying like the actual roads are like that. I'm saying the behaviour of people in cars because there's not many people who like live around. I went up I guess a 3% climb, 1,500 meters. This car stayed behind me the whole way. And then when it was ready to pass, safe pass. Everyone does like super safe passes. Everyone's really patient. I think it's because there's like everyone's just chilled, so it's like they will just wait and overtake you when they know it's safe, and they won't like be up your like right on your back wheel. They give you space. They like literally overtake on the other side of the road. It's mind bending being here. It's just like I don't understand it because when it's like being in London, it's like close pass. You could have died on any ride. Whereas here, I'm just like, the main worry is, I guess, like when you can't see around the corner and you're like going 30k around it kind of thing, around blind corners, because sometimes it gets a bit narrow. So it's just like collisions around corners is the main worry, but it's not. But the roads are wide enough, and I make sure that I'm not going down that single track. I've kind of got my like staple routes, like Red said, where it's just like if I like the loops. So I kind of got my loops built in now, of just like roads that I know are wide that cars aren't going to like cut corners from because there's like lines down the middle of the road. It's all fairly well. It's kind of like feels like you're constantly climbing. It'll be good for efforts. I'm looking forward to like bringing back the threshold locks.
Cool. Fine. Well, we'll come and visit you. Come and see in the house.
Sure.
Shall we head to a small break and we can talk about what we've seen, kits, anything we've bought, and we'll have a general chat about pro cycling in a bit. Cheers.
Welcome back, one and all. So Cam, in this little break, anything caught your eye from when we last recorded? It could be kits, races, transfers, just, the buzz, words on the grapevine.
So, two things. First of all, you didn't hear it first, but you definitely heard it here, the Tom Pidcock transfer rumour. I have also seen his skin suit. I've seen him getting fitted for his skin suit.
You sound like a pervert. I've seen his skin suit.
I've seen pictures of him getting fitted for his skin suit. I can't really say where I've seen it, but I can't really see where I say where I've seen it from. But I have seen it, and yeah, it's a decent design. It's from one of the. Well, actually, I probably can't say it at all. I've seen it, and it looks really good. And yeah, I think people got a lot to be excited about. The other kind of things that I've seen over the period, it was beforehand, but Tudor Pro Cycling, I think, is going to be really interesting next year, especially with our favourite cyclist Mark Hershey and Julian Alaphilippe moving there as well. It's good to see that. I think it's a lot of these
battle of the Swiss teams.
I know, right? And do you know what I think is quite interesting is that it's clear that these teams are doing the wildcard strategy, right? Like Tudor are clearly going to get entry to the biggest classics races going because they've got Mark Hershey and Julian Alaphilippe. There's some movement at Ineos, like obviously Elio Viviani, he left, didn't he? That's their only sprinter. We won't get into that because I'm not really in the depth of it, but it's worth listening to the Lantern Rouge Ineos episode. It's really, really interesting there. And I mean, the other thing that clearly caught our attention was the Jayco Alula map collaboration. I think it's cool to see Map in the World Tour. It kind of elevates them, and I think. Do you remember when Rafa was sponsoring Sky? And it probably makes, although it's expensive, it's really expensive to do because you're going to have to do custom skin suits for. They've got the men's and women's team on the Map kit. If you do custom skin suits for everybody, you're going to get pros asking for like very limited run pieces, to fit what they need to do, and it's not going to just be like if you're maybe running it now, Map might have like a light, medium, and a deep winter glove. You're going to need to do heaps more of that kind of stuff, like really one-off pieces. But what we found, certainly, I think you might remember it, when Rafa did Team Sky, actually it made the Rafa kit come up as well.
Yeah.
It's a good collaboration. Australian to, well, I like half Australian, half Saudi, right? Alula. But the one thing that's missing for me on that is the bikes.
You're not a fan of the Giants? Are you saying a Propel ain't doing it for you?
I just get them on a factor. Get them on a factor. Come on. Like a factor, the map kit. If it thing is as well, if I had factor on the jersey, that means I could probably wear it because it's such a weird thing. Do you know the one thing I really put?
You want to wear the pro kit. You want the pro kit
to match your bike.
The bike on the pro kit to match your bike.
There's other things as well, like the Trinity Racing kit. They've got big S special. Oh, RIP Trinity Racing. Shit. Yeah. But Trinity Racing always had the big S for Specialized on it, and I always really hated that.
Sometimes you got to match. Although if the kit's too good, you kind of got to. Also, I don't know if Map sponsoring the Hagen Berman's Jayco team as well, because they're kind of like the dev team now. So do they have to do like 80 kits?
I don't think they, because Axel Hagersbergen was always as Axel Merckx's team, right?
Yeah, but Jayco are now the dev team for them.
Are they?
I think so.
Because they used to ride BMCs. I know that for a fact. So I'm just not. I'm not too sure on that.
What's the Instagram saying?
Tell you what, I did see as well. Did you see that?
Oh no, they're still on LA, but the kit kind of looks similar.
Fine. Did you see that Rosa Closers signed for Canyon SRAM women's team?
No, Rosa.
She won Unbound.
No, I hadn't.
Yeah, and it was really interesting, especially because I saw it on there. And it's like this is kind of, I guess, where talent gets to the top. She's like, when I first started cycling properly 3 years ago. Started cycling 3 years ago, and actually the Women's World Tour. It's pretty impressive stuff.
That's big dedication.
What do you think about the map kit then? Because that's been the big kind of. I saw the EF kit, pretty good. Nothing groundbreaking.
I guess it's as in Rafa are technically like the only fashion brand in the, World Tour, right? Even probably in the peloton. So having Map in there kind of it's quite nice as well.
Solidifies them a bit, right?
Solidifies them because the pro cycle part is the whole mass marketing of how you sell bikes, right? So if you've got a team winning in Map kit, it will boost sales in places that you wouldn't have an audience in.
Although, but I don't know if I'd say
I'd say Map is the millennials.
Oh yeah, almost
that and Paz Normal.
That almost definitely, but I don't know if. And I think we might have talked about this before. And spoiler alert: we're going to try and get Warren on from Cycling Fashion Week. I spoke to him last night, by the way, so he was going to come on. But maybe it's a question he can answer, or maybe it's a question we can ask to, or people send us a DM if you know this. But I don't think that cycling kits are a bit like football teams, right?
Yeah.
It might have been like that with Sky, but I think that was only because Sky were after the Olympics, first properly British World Tour team, except lots of kind of mitigating factors. But I don't know if people are so into, Quick Step that they buy a phone case that says the Wolf Pack on it. Do you know what I mean?
I think you've used the wrong team as an example. going on.
So,
if I'm being honest, I think there probably are lots of people who have Wolfpack phone cases in Belgium, but I think it's because it's mostly they're not teams; they're named after companies. It's the whole like craziness of cycling, because we were talking about One Pro Cycling before we did the old Matt Pryor team, where it was like, I want it to be like a team, like an actual team name, and then the sponsors are secondary. And I think Bas Tiltman's got the Uni Rocket Tiedemann Rockets now, which we'll look into more, which I saw pop up the other day. But it's because cycling, I guess, is sponsor based, right? Because Team Sky are now Team Ineos, Team Grenadiers. So it's hard for anyone to actually like. People just buy into, oh, that kid looks kind of iconic in terms of like, because the professionals have done something in them, or you're just like like the Trash Boys. They love the Intermarché kit because it's just like fluoro, looks cool, and if you buy the Pro Winter kit, it's usually more cheaper than like the Fashionistas winter kit, and it's probably much better because these pros actually use it every day in winter.
Do you know what I will say? And maybe this is like, because advertising's a bit, I wouldn't say advertising's ethereal, but it is what it is. I was in Tool Station a couple of weeks ago, and I sent you a text, when I was redoing my floor, that there was Soudal.
I've seen many quickset flooring go through all the shops,
and I'm like, I saw Mapei Concrete, and I was like, do you know what? If I had to pick a brand of something, I'd probably pick Mapei. So they probably got me.
Made that bathroom, that boy Hans Grower bathroom's coming.
Oh yeah,
only Sargan's there installing it.
Those were weird adverts, weren't they? So yeah. Oh, the other thing as well that happened, I managed to get some of the, I think they're called, of the drops. Matt sponsored Life Plus, Wahoo Life Plus, the women's team that went under last year. Yeah, I managed to get some of the pro issue only overshoes. I've got 2 pairs. One of them will be for poncing about in, and one of them will actually be used. One of them, I forgot to mention it to start with, one that we mentioned in Belgium. I'm going to Belgium in March. Yeah.
Cam squared.
Yeah, Canadian Cam and I are going to Belgium.
McDougall and McDouglas on the road again.
we might have to. I might have to do a special dispatch with you when we're on there.
Live. I want you live outside. Like, what time of year are you going?
We are going. Oh, if anybody's interested, I'm not saying come along because it's the 2 of us for now. But I don't want any of our Belgium listeners to turn up at cycling centre. We Ride Flanders Cycling Centre. We're going from the 13th of March to the 17th of March. We're going to be staying.
What races are on? What races are on at that time?
So there's no races because I've tried to get it as late as possible to the start of classic season because Tour of Flanders and Roubaix typically it's typically the
week after, right?
Week after, yeah. And my daughter's birthday is around that week, so obviously I don't want to be cycling in Flanders when it's my daughter's birthday. So I think it's the first week of April is typically the kind of the Roubaix weekend. And I looked at doing the Tour of Flanders Sportive, but getting a hotel,
too much.
Dude, it's like £300 a night in Oudenaarde. You're not going to like a weekend away with your missus in Edinburgh.
It's not you're not down Nobu in Shoreditch, are you?
No, you're not going. Yeah, exactly. You're not going Nobu Shoreditch. You're going to come back with a Belgian spray tan. All the cartilage in your body's been rattled out, and you want to have a shower and eat up some stoofie. So yeah.
Yeah, there was also someone else you noticed in one of the chats, but you've forgotten to mention. What was in Garner's mouth?
Okay, right. So I don't miss. I absolutely don't miss. Yes. This might be a scoop. I don't think it's been announced, but I was looking at the Ineos Grenadier kit reveal looks the same as last year, apart from they've got a new white stripe down the center of the helmet. Cool, recognizable, clever. In Filippo Ganna's mouth, he's got a Mawson gel. So I would suggest that Science and Sport and Ineos are no more. Obviously, they're pretty... Ineos and all cycling teams now are so keen to be sponsor correct when they put things up, right? Like, do you remember when it was... Who was the guy who was doing Rigoberto Urán's Sportive?
Higuita on the Specialized when he was on EF.
Sergio Higuita, that was it. And he was 2 weeks before his contract ended, and he rode an S-Works on a Sportive, not a paid event, and they sued him. So cycling teams, and you see videos of pros going to like the December training camp, and they're still wearing last year's kit. Like they're really, really hot about this. But Pipo Ganna had a Morton gel in his mouth, so Ineos going Morton. Science Sports over. Which, I've tried Morton. I really like it. I think it's really good. The gels are good because they don't actually taste of anything, which maybe is, as a former smoker, is why I like it. And the mix is good, but I'll be honest with you, come over to my gaff, mate. I'll make you some mega mix, and that will change your life.
All legal. All legal.
Bag of maltodextrin, electrolyte tablet, and a caffeine tablet. That thing will you'll be flying, mate.
With a creatine chaser.
Oh, mate, my mega mix flying. The challenge is though, when I go to Belgium, I might have to take mega mix in a sandwich bag. I might look like I'm trying to transport Coke on the Eurostar. So
I can buy the premixes for that. Just be like...
Yeah, I might have to. So yeah, that's what Ineos going to Morton by the looks of it. So but I did then do some further investigative journalism, because this is journalism actually. They're not following Morton on Instagram, but they are still following Science and Sport. So maybe it just hasn't been announced yet. So there you go, people. You do. There is a useful information on this podcast.
It could be non-useful. We'll find out.
It's almost definitely, like, again, you heard it here.
Or they might just not have one. Might not have a nutritional sponsor yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it before, but it's worth bearing talking about again, which is the teams that are sponsored versus like the teams that are not trade customers, but the teams that actually buy it themselves. Like, I remember watching Alex Dowsett's videos, and he's saying they're a customer for UAE, are a customer, not UAE, sorry, Israel Primatech, are a customer of Shimano. And what that enabled them to do is they could run ceramic speed, crap jockey wheels, because they didn't have to use the kind of OEM derailleur from there. And I think Ineos is one of those teams. That's why they sometimes use lightweights, sometimes they use Princeton wheels, sometimes they use Dura-Race wheels. So maybe that comes down to that as well, because I think we said it on the Tom Pidcock episode when we talked about his rumor transfer at the time, that the only people on the Ineos jersey are Pinarello and Ineos and Gobic, who made the kit.
Did they used to have Shimano?
They're a trade team for Shimano.
Were they?
Yeah, they're a trade. They're not a sponsored team. Jumbo Visma are sponsored by SRAM.
Along with Trek,
yeah. Oh, did I tell you how I think? I don't know if we talked about this before. Did I tell you I think I know how the Wout van Aert lifetime contract works?
No, you haven't.
Right, I think I know how it works. I spoke to someone about it, and I think I figured it out. How the Wout van Aert lifetime contract works is that it's a sliding scale of bonuses to salary. So if we say this year his salary is 4 million euros plus he might OTE on target earnings is going to be like $1 million in bonuses, so he'll be 5 mil.
Yeah.
Then the year after he might be on 3.5 million euros, and then they would increase his bonus share percentage the year after. And then what happens is their exposure to his salary actually decreases as his career continues. But he's incentivized to win more because actually that's where he'll end up getting paid. So you could end up with a scenario in 7 years' time where he's on 200,000 euros, but the bonuses for him are like 5 mil a year because he's still anticipating making the same amount of money or more. But what they've done is they've elected to say, we can't pay you 5 mil a year for the rest of your life. Also, because in 5 years' time, you're not going to be getting us the same amount of results. But we can guarantee that you'll have a space at one of the top 2-3 teams in the World Tour. And what we'll do is we'll increase your salary, but increase your comp. I think that's
what they're doing. That's what they do in the NFL for player caps and all of that. Guaranteed money versus like bonus money.
Is that how that works?
Because they always do like contract restructures to get people in the kind of salary cap, and it's all done on like bonuses. But quite a lot of the quarterbacks want guaranteed money, so they'll take less, bigger contract. Because all of these contracts where you see like you'll get 150 mil, unless it's a guaranteed, most of it's probably all just like bonuses, and they can cut them after. And it's all like we'll pay you really high for the first 2 years, and then you don't get paid as much after like 2 years, so that we can get other people in. And it's all very. You'd probably love the maths of NFL contracts, if I'm being honest.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so I think that's how the Wout contract works. But yes, Ineos going to Morton. I don't know if you heard it here first, or in fact, if you were on our group chat, the Slander and Spoilers group chat, you'll hear it there. Yeah. Anyway, enough about which photos I've seen and group chats. And Joe, what have you seen over the period? What's kind of caught your eye? What should people be aware of? What do you think?
I've noticed that the quality of videos on GCN and my YouTube algorithm seems to be getting better. I know that, it's not a big secret that they've gone independent again, but they're making some nice videos, which aren't just like crazy like ad. Like here is a crazy ad. Like we're trying out these wheels on this bike, and it's not really like big testing, is it? It's kind of like them just showing off these wheels or a bike, etc. But now it's kind of like, they're going back to like making fun videos from, I guess, I watched them from the beginning in 2012 when I started cycling properly, and they were like doing they were literally just appeared on YouTube at the same time. So it's quite I guess going back to their like fun videos again, and sort of like challenges and stuff like that, which I'm enjoying watching on occasion. I imagine over the next year they'll probably come up with some nice videos as well, and some nice challenges and some nice destinations. Because I remember when we had GCN Plus, they had all those. I think you have to become like a YouTube member of their channel, and you get to like view all of those videos that they've made. But I think they're going to get back to like all of that stuff, and then rather having GCN Plus, you just got to do the YouTube subscribe, which depending on how much it is, maybe I'll take a look. Bop in and bop out for a bit. Also, our friend of the pod, Vlad, he's got in the words of the group chat, a turbo daddy, which translates to he now has a coach, and he is looking very, very strong.
Is that for all the mountain biking he does?
He's doing Tracker 360, so he's got it for that. He wants us to talk about mud. So, gravel, mud, cam, go.
All right.
Great chat. I tried, Vlad. You're going to have to, Vlad, send us some topics and we'll discuss.
Excuse the language, but it's not fucking happening. I'm sorry, but like, I follow. We've known Vlad a long time. Hey, Vlad. Lovely, one of the loveliest men in the world. Always got time for people. Love him to bits. Very, very strong. Sits in the wind all day. Doesn't mind. The challenge is that what Vlad calls gravel is actually him mountain biking, and it is. And him and I. The only thing we argue about. I think we should get him on. He actually is. He does some really, really cool stuff. So maybe we'll get Vlad on after we've done our first block of people. We can get him to talk about.
We'll get him to talk about what tracker training looks like.
Yes.
And then we'll get him on after what tracker looks like. because he also goes out with, if you are into gravel and mountain biking, he goes out with the 6 a.m. guys. So
He does, yes.
find the 6 a.m. guys if you live sort of in Essex. They do really good rides. Rides that I would hate and Cam would hate, but if you're into getting muddy and basically doing like Tuesday hot laps, but on a gravel bike through Epping Forest, those are the guys for you. And they do, all of the guys on there do like some crazy adventures on gravel and all of that, where it's like 300k days through like the Austrian Alps or something like that. That's the kind of vibe they go for. If that's your vibe, you should check out 6 a.m. They do a fry up on Friday mornings. So message their Instagram and they'll probably message you back about all the info. Cool. So there you go. What else has been on my... I guess, we've done kits, races. I'm looking forward to Strada Bianchi this year. I don't know why. It's just like, I feel like it's going to be a stacked field. Also Tour of Flanders, because it's MV Van der Poel versus Poggi. I think I'm going to look forward to Poggi racing one-day races, but I'm not going to look forward to him racing like stage races, because he means the rainbow jersey will just be him in like some shit leader's jersey, unless it's like the Tour, and you'll be like, I feel like the rainbows need to be on show.
That's a really good point. I think, like when he was running into Ciclamino in the Giro, and it was like slightly the wrong colour, but they were like, "Oh, that's the sponsor."
But it's a skin suit. Yeah, a skin suit. Really odd.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it. I saw Van der Poel last year in the rainbow jersey at Paris-Roubaix. Unforgettable experience with John from Trash. Shout out John Snell. And I think that I can't do it this year. Maybe we find out when Strada Bianchi is, and we go.
Usually like start of March, end of Feb, maybe. It's it's earlier than you always think.
All right.
It's before San Remo in my mind.
Okay.
But you never know. They change the calendar around all the time, so they could. Who knows where they put it?
Maybe we need to go. Maybe we need to go to Italy in like October and watch. Not MSR. Watch the other one. Race of the Falling Leaves.
Yeah. Lombardy. Also, because I know that you don't care about the Vuelta.
I don't care for it.
But how much do you know about Spanish? Basically, where do you think Madrid is on a map in Spain? North, central, south.
It's north, isn't it? It's like northwest, right?
Sort of, yeah. The whole of the Vuelta this year, the furthest south it goes is Madrid. For 3 weeks, they're in the north of Spain.
What?
Like, look it up. Like, the furthest south they go is like Madrid, and it starts in like Turin. It is.
Is that because the Rampas Inhumanos is like
it's strong in the Basque Country? I don't know why. I guess it's just the way they've done it. But usually they go south. But like the furthest south they go is Madrid, and Madrid's quite north for that country.
Yeah, Madrid's like kind of north, central north, isn't it, of Spain? I'm looking at it now. I'm not very. Yeah, Jesus, that is awful. Yeah, I don't care for the Vuelta. Sorry, it's too hot. Like, it's just.
I think it's all about start list for the Vuelta, and also the Giro route hasn't been announced yet. Just so we all know, that's in May. I love
the Giro route hasn't been announced yet, and it's in May. Jesus.
Yep, we're in January right now, so no one actually knows who's going to be doing it because they haven't done a route announcement.
So the Tour is obviously the Tour. My favourite, I think. I like the Tour because you get everybody there, but I love the Giro because the Giro is so beautiful and just so, just love it. I love the
yeah, I always want to love the Giro, but they can't do the high mountain stages because there's always like bad weather and snow, and it always gets cancelled. Is the problem with the Giro? But I think if they just made it like crazy medium mountains all the time, because they had during the J Vine Carapaz one. 21.
Is that when he couldn't get his? Is that when he couldn't get his jacket on?
No, that was the Gegenhardt one when he won in.
That was the
2020.
Gegenhardt. That was it. Yeah, that's it.
And then I forgot who won it in 20. Maybe this was in 22. Then there was that Turin stage, and Bora absolutely lit it up.
Mm.
That was probably like one of the most enjoyable stages I've ever watched. It's just like they're all just going fine, and then before you know it, it's just like they're doing like I like it in pro racing when they do like loops of a mountain, because then it's just like they go up at once and everyone knows how steep it is, and then it's just like we can really like rather than do like an A point to a B point, doing like a circuit within like that, like it's the world or something. It's quite fun to watch.
Oh, the other thing, talking about that, like I know you would have seen it, but we need to talk about like those videos that people have been put about Poggy doing KOM attempts with like a train of UAE people going at like 40k an hour up a mountain.
Yeah, but they need to do it like the Colpack, like an actual video. Like, what's the point in releasing a new Colnago bike and then just having like Poggy do that on like one of the most famous mountains in Spain that everyone wants a KOM on? Like, from a marketing point of view, like who's in charge of all this shit?
Would you buy that Colnago? It's growing on me massively.
When I first saw it, I was like, don't really like it. But as you say, it is growing. But I don't know. I guess it's like take Poggy out of stuff. And then you have to be like, who else on that team is going to sell me that? Make me feel like that bike's going to be worth buying. You know? It's kind of like the froth. I feel like, well, for me, Poggy doesn't give me froth because he's that good that he makes like anything average will just be good because he's like so amazingly good that you won't believe that you'd make that bike good, if that makes sense. Whereas like with some of the others, you're like, with Alaphilippe or so like Van der Poel, because they're not always winning, you're like, look how good that bike is. But because Pog wins on everything on like an average bike, you're like, do I really need this bike? It's too good, is what I'm saying. Which is a weird thing to say of like when someone's too good that their froth doesn't, their like Midas touch doesn't make you want to be it.
Let me sell it to you a different way. Colnago, white with World Championship stripes on it.
In fairness, we need to see it in other colour schemes.
Doesn't do it for me.
Because the UA kit this year is a bit, I don't like it. It's like weird gradient, black to white. It just looks horrid.
I think we should go away with the gradient kits.
Yeah. We need. Maybe this is a good thing about Map and Ref is they actually make nice kits. We just need more fashion with performance coming together is what we need. But that is it.
Should I head to a break?
Indeed. Welcome back, everyone. Before we tell you about the podcast for 2025 and all of that other stuff, we forgot to talk about what we think our under-over for kilometres this year on the bike is. So mine last year was 7K, and I think I'll probably get under 7K. I'm going to say roughly I'll do about 5.5 to 6 is what I think will happen. Mm-hmm. What about you, Cam? Can you even remember what you had from last year?
So I just been on Strava.
Yeah,
it's not looking good, bruv. So bearing in mind I got the Factor in January. Last year I rode 662 kilometers on the Factor.
600, under 1,000. What? I wasn't expecting that. I thought you'd done like 2,000-3,000 or something like that.
But the thing, but I've been turboing quite a bit. That's not right. It says 600k on the Factor. How is that possible? That's not possible. I don't think that's possible because I commuted, and commuting is 90k. Yeah, that's not right. I reckon I did 4.5, 5,000 k's last year.
That's what I thought. I was just like, surely you've done more than 600k.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, you and I have done like 150k day. That's not right. So I reckon this year I would like to get to. I'd like to get to 6,000k. That's 500k a month. That's 125k a week. I think I might have. Mine might be a positive split approach, in that I might not do that much at the moment. I might just be on the turbo. Challenge with the turbo is I've got another bike on it at the moment, and that bike just doesn't really fit that well. And I think when you're static on the turbo, all your weird little bike fit niggles become really pronounced. Like my knees and my arms start to hurt a little bit. So I'm going to try and jump on the turbo now. I've actually got to jump. I've got work this afternoon, but maybe turbo on Sunday. But I reckon 6,000 Ks, new babies arriving end of May, middle May. Cam and I are doing Belgium. Belgium, I don't think it's going to be big distance because it's so hard, right? You're not going to be doing 100K days, really.
You do, yeah. I think if you do like 80K, that's a good day.
Things we've got all day to do it, right?
Just don't get stuck in a, be like, oh, this is a cute cycling bar, and then before you know it, you've had 3 pints and you're like 25K from home.
I have to call, and I can't believe we're saying this, friend of the podcast, Johan Museo might have to come and pick me up. Genuine friend. Johan Museo was a genuine. We haven't talked about that. Johan Museo knows who we are.
Really? He sure does.
One of the greatest of all time knows who we are.
I know. Whilst you were slurping down that beef, whatever it was, gel.
Struffles. I tried to make. Oh God, I haven't told you about this. I've told no one about this. I tried to make that Belgian stew at home, struffles.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any Belgian ale, so I had to put like McEwan's Champion, Scottish beer in it. And I didn't taste good. I'm never doing it again. So I reckon 6,000 Ks for the year, trip to Belgium, maybe a late trip to France after the baby arrives. Maybe you and I go and watch Lombardia at the tail end of this year. I think that'd be quite good fun if we could go and see Lombardia. Just rent a bike or something, do Poggio, and yeah,
Poggio's
I think
not Lombardy.
Oh no, Poggio is MSR, isn't it? Sorry.
It's like Siestra, not Siestra. I forgot what it is. Gallet. It's the really stupidly steep one.
Yeah.
Up to the chapel or whatever.
MSR's Poggio, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going for 6,000 Ks, trip to Belgium, Lombardia with you, maybe. I think Lombardia would be a good little trip, actually. And maybe we do Alps in August, September. How about you? What's your kind of over-under? What are you thinking for this year?
I think it'll probably be around, if I do 100, we'll be very conservative. 100K a week is what, 52, not 52, like 5,200K. I reckon about 6. If we can get 6, I'll be happy.
So 6 is 100.
I know that's good.
6 is 125K a week. It's 125K a week, 6.
Yeah, because I can't bang out big rides at the moment just because it's too cold. We don't have the Zwift set up properly. I need to get an electrician in, plug points and all that stuff. If not, you're going to have to like run it from the house into the garage. And then at that point, like, why don't I just do it in the house? It's just, yeah. So basically when it's kind of, I think I can ride at least an hour outside, it'll be like 30K. So we'll do that until it gets one bit warmer end of Feb, March. Then it's getting a bit light in the mornings. We can start the real stuff. And then there'll probably be like house stuff to do, like painting and all of that stuff. It takes way longer than you think. So I'm expecting house disruptions. I'm expecting just general life disruptions and figure out what we're doing holiday-wise as well. Looking at wedding venues and stuff like that.
Of course.
Eat into the big days out. But if I can get 3 rides in a week, I'll be happy for now. It's not as much as I want, but it's just life, isn't it? But maybe in the summer, I'll try and do some big days up to like Cambridge and back as a normal ride.
God.
Which isn't too bad. It's nice that far away.
It's not for you, actually, is it? No, I guess not.
It'll be my Windsor, can be Cambridge. On roads that are 100% better.
And what can people expect for the podcast for the rest of this year then, mate?
We got Cobbles Cols Easter Monday. I think we'll do that as our one annual event of the year. Same route, same finish destination via. probably go to the pub around the corner. It's always hard knowing what's actually open on a bank holiday Monday. But I think it was the Three Kings or something it was called. We'll probably end up there again.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's warm. If it's sunny, we'll be there. If not, we'll just cancel it. But
it should be fine.
But it should be fine. Easter's late in April this year, so I'm expecting it to be like sort of warm. I think it's like around the 20th, isn't it?
It was fine last year, wasn't it?
I think shorts were being worn, so all good.
Mm.
What about you? What else have we got in the pod? Guests? Do you want to disclose any guests?
Yeah, of course. So next week we've got Sturka coming on. So I need to nail that down. People don't need to know, but we were recording actually quite soon. So that will come out on an order schedule next week. And we're anticipating getting Quack on as well, the shoe company. We're trying to get a date sorted with Johan. It's a bit of a sweet spot thing. It can't be too close to the classics because he's got lots of things going on, and I need to kind of figure it out now. So we're going to get Johan on, and we're also going to try and get our friends from Cycling Fashion Week on. So that's your fill of a couple of people. Obviously, we're talking to a few people to get them on the schedule, and I think we do. Vlad, you're coming on the podcast. Would like to hear about training for Tracker. I think it's one of those, I guess you could say, events that people put in their bucket list, and it'd be good to hear how people are actually training for it, and what that really means in actuality. So lots to look forward to. We are going to try and be more consistent, but we've already given away our excuses, so
we'll come up with new ones.
Don't be surprised if we never follow through.
It's not cycling if you don't already have like your excuses in the barrel. I was underfueled.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? What was that? I had a hunger flat. That's the new thing. A hunger flat.
I was trying to attack, but I'm a marked man.
Yeah, no one would follow you, mate. Too much time in the wind, it is. Right. So there you go. Lots to look forward to. We're still busy, but thank you everyone for support. Also,
I got a final thing.
Go on, what have you got?
I'm also getting bored of seeing everyone on Zwift on Strava, so can you mix it up?
It's because you're jealous, mate, because your setup isn't optimal.
I want, unoptimized setup, but you got to moan about these things.
Also, so if get in touch with us, send us a DM on Instagram. If you're sending us, I think I said to you earlier, if you're sending us emails, through our website, which is still spincyclepodcast.com. If you're sending web emails through that website, I rarely reply to them because we just get a lot of spam. So send me a DM on Instagram. We're always active there. But it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. See you later.
Later.